Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to my game called MONSTASTROPHE. It's currently in development. I actually started this project on November 27th, 2025. So it's been a while. I'm not working on this full time. This is just a after hours project outside of my full-time job. And the plan was to, I guess, just work on my skills. This is a new avenue I've been really enjoying, just making a game. It's been what, 4 months, 5 months of just working on this game. I want to be able to finish this game, record the process of me making it, show it to the world, and just learn more about it. This isn't actually my first time recording this intro. My original recording for this intro was made back in December 4th of 2025, and I was going to use that dialogue commentary for this intro video, but looking back now, it's just I didn't even really discuss the game. I was just talking. There wasn't a structure at all to what the game is even about. I don't even know how this recording is going to sound, but in that recording, the first one in December, I was just so quiet. It was just not a good look. I'm glad I did it, but this isn't gonna hit the light of day, I'm gonna be honest. This is as much as you're gonna see from it. I'll just be doing this recording instead. It'll probably be a bit more exciting. So this game is quite literally just a monster catastrophe. It's going to be a first-person shooter zombie survival game. Came to me from, well, Call of Duty Zombies and Combat Arms. There's specifically a game mode called Fire Team where you're fighting off against a horde of zombies. And then another one, this isn't a specific game. It's a modded map within Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It's a custom map called Rama 2. I can't lie, there's heavy inspiration from all of these games, even more. This is the first game I'm building. It's not going to be a paid thing. I'm just going to be making it free because honestly, it doesn't make sense to make this game paid, especially for my first title that has heavy inspiration from everywhere else and I'm using licensed assets. Like, it just doesn't make sense at all. I'm at a point where I just want to release something and have people actually play it and hopefully give me feedback on what to improve upon. That's my goal, and then hopefully one day I can make something that's worth a couple of dollars. Even if it's like $5, that would be cool. But as of right now, no, titles I'm going to be making are just going to be free. Just want to share it with the world and be able to learn more. So we got the inspirations out of the way. Let's talk about the goal of this game. Again, heavily inspired from the games I used to play. So it's not going to be a round-based system like Call of Duty Zombies. The goal is to survive the endless horde of monsters, collect resources, upgrade your arsenal, and eventually purchase the buyable ending. In terms of the gameplay loop, it's split into two sections of the map. One part of the map is going to be the arena, the main gameplay area where all the monsters spawn. The player can go in there and fight all the monsters to earn all the resources. It's going to be an enclosed area. And the arena is going to be, again, heavily influenced from the map Cabin Fever from Combat Arms. Similar to where, depending on the map I create, the indoor space is the safe zone. You can go outdoors, but there's going to be a damage over time effect in the outdoor space, so the player can go out there, but they just can't stay out there forever. Monsters will only spawn in the outdoor areas. The second section of the map is the hub, complete opposite of the arena. It's calm. Monsters are not going to be able to spawn there or reach the player at all. It gives the player a little bit of a break, and the main purpose for this area, besides kind of a relaxing area, the player can spend the resources that they earned within the arena either surviving in there, killing the monsters, or objectives, which I'll get to a little bit later, to progress through the game, whether that's through straight up progressing and purchasing the next level in the game, or if they wanted to upgrade their stats and their weapons, unlock more weapons, buy new weapons, anything like that, which again, we'll get into. So there's a couple of features I want to get implemented. The first one is going to be the monsters. Now I want to have different monster types. I'll have your normal monster, just your basic bob of normal everything, normal stats, nothing crazy about them. Then you're going to have your fast monster, like your sprinter or something like that. We'll have a tank monster, which is just slower, more HP, just a bullet sponge. I'll have an exploding monster, which I think that'll be cool. There's some ways I thought about going about it. Again, Combat Arms really inspired this for me. I'll have them up on the screen. There's two types of exploding monsters. There's one where there's dynamite wrapped all around their body. They explode on their death. There's another one called the Striker, which is a bit more unique. They don't explode on death. They drop a grenade on death. So that might be a bit more of a fun way to do it. You have to be aware of that, especially in an enclosed space and where your positioning is. Next up is going to be the Brute monster. Think of it as like the mini bosses heroes from Call of Duty Zombies, like the Panzers or Brutus. I think it's going to be more similar to Brutus from Mob of the Dead, where he's just an absolute unit. He just chases you down. He has all of the qualities of the fast monster, the tank monster, and he just hits harder. That'll be a fun one to implement. And then the final one, this one's going to be the most annoying one, the Thief monster. Inspiration from Black Ops 2 Zombies. If you've ever played Buried, you've went into the mansion and there was those ghosts, the witches. You just lose your points when you get hit. So I think that'll be a fun monster type to add. It'll be annoying, but it adds to that chaos factor I'm trying to go for, where there's just everything happening all at once. So those were the monster types. I wanted to do monster species. That's why part of the name had monst for monster. I was thinking about doing specifically zombies, but who knows? Bigger picture, if I wanted to add anything outside of zombies, having monsters was just a better idea in the long run. I don't know if I'll end up doing it, especially with where I'm at now. I originally wanted to give myself 6 months of development, but I don't think I'm going to be done within 6 months. But the goal was, with the monster species, that each map had its own theme, and each theme had its own species of monsters. So one map would have zombies, another map would have robots, another map skeletons, beasts, aliens, things like that. I'm going to be focusing on zombies first, but those are the species. Again, we'll see what happens with that. It's not a huge priority as long as I get one of them done. It's a matter of fact of just replacing the assets with the other species. And then finally, the monster AI, how the monsters are going to be functioning. There's not going to be any sort of idle state. There's not going to be a wandering state. It's just going to be your classic Call of Duty Zombies brain. They spawn, they chase down the player, they attack you. Repeat that cycle. Nothing too crazy there. They will drop resources on death. I'm not too sure how I want to do resources. If certain monster types are going to drop resources, or maybe all resources are dropped by all monster types. It's just certain monster types drop more of them. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but we'll see how it goes. Next up, we have the weapons, which kind of a mandatory system for this type of game. So the player's going to be starting off with a pistol, and there's going to be a bunch of different types of weapons, and then over time they'll be able to unlock more weapons. Right now there are pistols, SMGs, assault rifles, shotguns, rifles, and special weapons. Special weapons are going to be basically your end game OP, super wonder weapons kind of thing. And at the start of the game, the player's going to start off with one weapon slot designated for their starting pistol, and eventually over time they can earn more weapon slots up to 3. So towards late game, maybe mid game, the player will have 3 weapon slots that they'll be able to hold any 3 weapons at any given time. Super simple for the weapons, nothing too much to go about it in terms of what I want to do. I think there's going to be a lot more in terms of sound design for the guns. That's going to be a big part, as well as actually creating the weapons. But talking about it is kind of straightforward. And on to the resources. So resources, a big inspiration from the custom map of Rama 2, and I want to learn how they build this kind of system. There's going to be 2 different types of resources. There's your progression resources as well as your spendable resources. Let's start off with the spendable resources. This is your gold cash points, used for purchasing weapons, purchasing player skills, player upgrades, as well as if they need to purchase health, if they need to purchase ammo, if they need to purchase anything like that. Maybe I have like an extra life in the game. Those types of spendable, easy to spend resources that don't really progress you through the game, that's what the gold cash points are going to be used for. I don't know what I'm going to name it. Now for the progression resources, there's going to be 3 tiers of them. 1 early game, 1 mid game, 1 late game. The early game resource is going to be wood. Mid game is going to be brick, late game is going to be titanium. Each of those resources allow you to progress through the game, unlock the necessary upgrades needed to progress, and end the game. Before we move on to the upgrades, I should probably talk about how you actually earn these resources. There's going to be 2 main ways to earn the resources. There's a third one, which I don't know what I'll have done for the MVP for this game, but who knows. The main 2 are going to be on monster death, as well as over time. And then the third one, I want to do something objective based. So it might be some sort of capture point in the map. Maybe they need to stay in a certain section of the map for 2 minutes, or maybe I implement something like soul boxes. And then I'm also thinking, I don't want to say contracts, another type of objective. Maybe there's kill counts. Again, I don't know how that's going to differentiate from soul boxes, because soul boxes are also kill counts. But maybe there's an objective, you have to get a certain amount of kills with a certain weapon type, a certain weapon. Maybe they have to not get hit by any monsters for a certain amount of time. They get bonus resources that way. So a cool thing to kind of add, but again, we'll see. But the main two are going to be on monster death and overtime progression for the resources. Alright, on to the upgrade system. And then for the upgrades, again, inspired by Emilio Rama 2, a lot of inspiration. Hey, this is my first game. I don't know how much unique things there are going to be. I just want to learn how these systems are built and be able to implement them into my own game. So anyways, there's going to be these upgrade stations. There's certain assets or actors that allow you to upgrade certain things, whether it's the player skills, the resources, the weapons, or even just the general progression of the game. These upgrade stations are labeled as the hub, the lab, armory, resources. The hub upgrade station is the main upgrade station for game progression. You can upgrade itself to resource storage and all the other upgrade stations from levels 1 to 5. Again, I don't know the exact number, but maybe 1 to 5, maybe 1 to 4. We'll see how it goes. Next up's the lab. This is going to be the upgrade station for all of the player stats, whether it be the player's HP, the player's speed, the damage the player deals, the ammo of their weapons, all that sort of good stuff. Armory is going to be the main place that allows the player to unlock weapons and purchase the weapons. Resources, like I talked about before in the resources section, it's going to allow the player to decrease the timer for resource generation over time, increase the amount of resources they gain per timer cycle, as well as increasing resources on monster death. Maybe there's something to do with the objectives as well, how much resources they gain per objective. Maybe there's like a reroll thing. Maybe they don't like the objective they have, being able to reroll the objective. Who knows? But again, super simple there. Super simple in concept. We'll see how it is in implementation. Now the screens, the UI of the game, because I don't want to release a game where you just dropped into it. So the upgrade stations, they're all going to have their own UI, their own menus there, their own screens that allow easy access for the player to spend their resources and unlock upgrades. Then all the other menus, you have the pause menu. This is going to be a single player local game. You have your main menu, you have your how to play, as well as the settings, be able to control the audio, controls, keybinds, sensitivity, maybe even controller support if I go down that route. Again, controller support isn't a focus for MVP, but it could be something cool afterwards. But yeah, just a lot of basics I think would be needed to make a game a game. Now the sound design, this is going to be my biggest challenge because I'm not a sound person. Biggest part is the weapon sounds, the fire sound effects, the reload sound effects. Then there's also the other parts of sound design as well. All of the UI needs sounds. Like if you purchase an upgrade, if you click on an upgrade, when you're earning resources, there's so much sound effects that are going to be needed to make a game feel like a game and to have that player feedback that I'm just not aware of yet, that I'm kind of worried about. Apart from that, I'm going to need monster sounds, which that should be fun to make. Just a bunch of, if I'm just doing zombies for now, I'm just going to need a bunch of like grunts and growls and things like that. That'll be fun. This one's I don't know. I'll probably record it, but I don't know if I'll implement it. The player sounds. I know combat arms, if you get hit, you'll make like a little grunt, like a, ugh. I'll do that, but I don't know if that'll make the final cut. And then, of course, we're gonna need music. I'm not making music. I'm asking my friend to do that, I'm gonna be honest. And then we have the maps. The final part, the final feature to be added. There might be some other features I'm missing. These are the ones I'm thinking of right now. And similar to what I said earlier with the monsters, I wanted each map to have its own theme. Each map had its own monster species, but I'm 4 months into my 6 months. If I even get around to the maps, I'm just going to be working on one map for now. And that's a post-apocalyptic city, like an abandoned city. Mainly just the player's going to be playing within the first floor of an abandoned office building. That's the kind of style I want to go for. The monsters all spawn out on the street. The player has that first floor to play within. Maybe there's a second floor, but that's the goal. And zombies are going to be used within the city map. Other maps I can do, I mean, it all depends on the time and what an MVP is and what isn't an MVP. But who knows, if I have aliens, beasts, skeletons, other things like that. I can do a castle, I can do a cemetery, a village, even a space station for aliens. Who knows? Just depends on the assets available because I'm not a map maker. I'm not a 3D artist. I don't make these assets. I don't plan to be, if I'm going to be honest. I want to focus on gameplay systems. This is just a necessary task for making a game. With all those features, that's what I have planned for this game. I hope it'll go well. I have a backlog of videos going all the way back to December of me talking about this game and working through the development process of this game. So I want to get those out there. before I continue developing this game, because I know as much as making projects matter and continuing to develop those skills and learning new things with the tech market that's going on right now, I gotta be able to market myself more, and I feel like making these videos would be one good way to make it. But anyways, if you're still here, I appreciate you watching this, and let me know what you think about this idea, this project, the features, anything of this. This is new to me, so if you have any ideas, if you have any things I can do better, what you like, what you don't like, anything, just anything, let me know in the comments. I greatly appreciate it. It allows me to know what to do better, what I can do, what should be done, all of those things. Anyways, talk to you later. Thanks again.